Hello, Gemini. These are your tarot cards for June of 2023. I'm Danielle Stimpson of Learn Reiki Philadelphia, and if you enjoy things like crystals, tarot, and Reiki, this is absolutely the place for you. I'd highly recommend hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss an opportunity to join in on all the fun that we have over here. So before we get too far into it, let's dive into your cards. Okay, so Gemini, this month, it's very much a continuation of what was going on last month, but it's a chance to work down into the details and find some resolutions and resolve those things so you can move forward. So the focus of the month, Seven of Pentacles, this is looking at fine detail so that you can refine what's there. The concept behind this image is usually of someone like taking stock. It's like a merchant or a farmer looking at the effort that's been put out and the expense that's been put out and kind of tabulating, okay, well, what will I get in return? Do I feel good about that? How can this shift? Think of it as like taking an internal inventory. In this particular reading, this is going to be more of an exhaustive personal inventory, less money and coin like the Pentacles would usually suggest. This is more about what am I learning? What am I putting out in life? What am I getting back? I think I need to adjust some things. What are we bringing with us from May? This is the Page of Swords. Page of Swords is usually a messenger of like big truths and even like maybe not so pleasant truths sometimes. The things that you learned last month, whether it was a big truth bomb that dropped or whether you suddenly started to see things for what they were and started to get some clarity around them, this is sort of those clarity points, that news coming in, this new way of looking at things. So you're very much coming into the month with that. What's the challenge? Here, I'm going to remind you first and foremost, definitely check out the videos for your sun, moon, and rising sign if you know all three, because this has come up for other folks this month as well, even in the same position. It may have even more relevance for you to see your other parts, see the other parts of your chart reflected in these videos. So Judgment is in the challenge position. Judgment could also be called resolution. And I feel like that's a really good word for how it comes up for you this month. Resolution is really think of judgment as like the biblical concept of judgment. The angel comes out, blows the trumpet. Okay, everybody pencils down. Where are you right now? What's going on? With it being in the challenge position, I feel like there's this propensity to say you've gotten this news, this clarity from last month, and there's this propensity to say, oh, no, not me. Oh, that's a reason for that. As you're seeing these things about yourself, you're sort of like almost trying to make a different story out of it. It's a really difficult types of things for you to see, especially about yourself. It can make it really hard to face the facts. And so it can become a lot easier to sort of find a way to not take responsibility for ourselves or to put responsibility on others or appear to ourselves to be sort of like almost like a martyr syndrome or anything like that. When the Judgment card comes up, this is an opportunity to see things exactly as they are and bring them to a conclusion. So even if that conclusion is something fairly simple, like, wow, that was me, I own that, I'll take responsibility for that when I figure out how, but I know it was me. Or, hey, this was something I could have handled differently. Or this is something I'm doing that's not helpful to me or to someone else. Whatever it is, this is a card saying in the challenge position, and it's especially being such a big major arcana card, major arcana being like big soul events, big kind of life important things. This is basically saying don't try to hide, don't try to cower in the shadows and keep things hidden and locked away. This is an opportunity to bring those things into light and really finds a space for healing internally. Yeah, be compassionate with yourself. That's fine. In fact, it's going to make it a lot easier to do the work that needs to be done. But trying to hide from the absolute truth of things isn't going to help you to find resolution. Next is the best path forward, and that is the Hierophant. Another major arcana card, and I feel like that deep spiritual nature is very much reflected in this as it was in Judgment. So here we have, the Hierophant is often, like in the older tarot cards, pre-Rider-Waite, this was often considered the Pope card. What they mean by that is not just like a spiritual leader that says, do as I say. No, this is really meant to be a teacher who teaches from experience with integrity and honesty. This is like somebody you would want to be a spiritual advisor, somebody who would be a good, well-balanced guru, someone who has taken responsibility for themselves. They've learned through this path, and they can help guide you not just by preaching down, but more by calling you in and saying, here's what I've learned and here's what I can share. We can see that the Hierophant is here explaining things to children, and that kind of gives you an idea. It's someone who has been here before and has wisdom to impart from their journey to you. I feel like for some of you, and well, in a lot of cases, for a lot of us, it's going to be both. There's one way where this can show up as another person who is giving advice that it would behoove us to take in. And on the other half, it's us seeing ourselves and knowing what to do and making those changes. It's, I would say, especially as best path forward, it would be bold enough to see it for what it is, all the things that need to be fixed, all the things that need to be resolved, bring them to their resolution, even if the only resolution is, wow, I don't like this. Even if that's all you can put on it. This is really going in to learn those deeper truths. As it is a Hierophant, back to what I was saying earlier, if you need to reach out for reflection, for wisdom, do it. That's a great thing to do. You can reflect inward, and you'll need to, but also don't hesitate to reach out for someone who maybe has been here before and can speak from experience by what you're going through. And maybe there's someone who's written a book about something like that. Maybe this is a person you know personally, or whatever the case might be. But seeking true wisdom, whether it's from deep within yourself or externally, that would be the best path forward. This is an opportunity to learn some spiritual truths and really take this time that you're going through and make it count. Because why be uncomfortable? Why continue dealing with the old issues of the past? It would be better to do the deep cleaning now and move forward unfettered than it would be to try to hide the problems, not deal with them, and then have them cropping up much bigger and much more interrupting later on. So the last card is the Whispers from Your Guides. It's your spirit guides basically giving you either some more depth, some good advice, maybe a warning, depends on how it shows up. This comes up for you, Gemini, as the Knight of Wands. The Knights are Knights energy. These are much more evolved than the Page we saw earlier. Pages are like, I have a message. Knights are, I have a little bit of a plan. Let's go. It's going to take a lot of energy and move kind of quick. So this is definitely a little more evolved. Also, swords are intellect and thought. What your guides are basically saying is these things here are going to lead you to opportunities that you are going to be able to jump on in a moment's notice and really capitalize from. But not if you're running from them. Not if you're not dealing with what's going on in your past, what's going on in your present. There's going to be opportunities coming up soon, maybe even starting now, that you're going to want to take advantage of. Make sure that you're in that position to do it. It's okay to say, I'm finding resolution and I'm moving on as well. But this is basically your guide saying there's going to be some quicker movement coming up for you in the near future. Look at the time spent doing that internal work, what's often called shadow work, when we do the work on the parts of ourselves that we find the most challenging, the hardest to see, and the most painful sometimes to do that work. What they're basically saying is this is really important you do it now, as it's represented by 2 major arcana cards. And this is your guide saying you really want to get things squared away now so that you can be in a good position much sooner, because you'll want to have the opportunities as they show up. So this month, Gemini, definitely all the best as you kind of look internally, as you are reflecting and learning and purging and coming to these conclusions. It can be a little bit difficult. It can even be a lot bit difficult. It's okay to ask for help, especially from folks who have been there before, people you look up to, who you feel have wisdom to offer. Don't hesitate to reach out for those things. Definitely check out the recordings for your sun, moon, and rising if you happen to know all 3. If you'd like to schedule a one-on-one reading, healing session, or if you want to shop my crystal collection or learn about my online Reiki certification courses, all of that is at learnreikiphiladelphia.com, which is linked in the description below. Thank you so much for watching this. I think that this is a month where you can really make a massive change towards your future, and I wish you all the best with it. I hope that I get to see you again in July. Take care, and bye for now.